My sister told my pregnant girlfriend that she was trapping me with a baby for my father's money, but my dad taught my sister a lesson for being a hypocrite by stopping all payments for her wedding. Our baby shower last weekend turned into more of a family drama party because of everything that happened. Today, my 24-year-old girlfriend and I, 26, are expecting a baby. She is already 5 months pregnant. It will be our first child, or more specifically, our first daughter. We haven't been together for too long, only about 2.5 years, but we love each other and are happy to become parents. The pregnancy wasn't planned, but we both wanted to move forward with it. My girlfriend moved in with me 4 months ago when we found out. Her family has been thrilled since day one. My family had a different reaction. There's my dad, a good 52-year-old man. He owns a landscaping company that has done very well over the years. Mom, 49, works as a real estate agent. They both live in a nice house in the suburbs and have always been generous with money. My sister, 28, is getting married in 2 months to her fiancé Wilson, 30. My girlfriend comes from a middle-class family. They're good people, which is what matters in the end, but they definitely don't have the same financial level as my family. I mention this because it matters for the story, not because I care about those things. When we first told my parents about the pregnancy, they congratulated us, but my mom started acting differently. She became distant and formal with my girlfriend. Before, Mom would hug my girlfriend when she saw her and ask her about work and her friends. After the baby news, those conversations stopped. My sister also became cold toward my girlfriend, answering with one-word responses when she tried to talk. About 3 weeks after sharing the news, Mom and my sister asked to talk privately. They wanted me to go to my sister's apartment without my girlfriend. I went because I thought they were planning some kind of surprise or something for the baby. That conversation was brutal. My sister started by saying she found it suspicious that my girlfriend got pregnant so close to her wedding date. She said it seemed like my girlfriend was trying to steal the attention from her big day. Then Mom jumped in and said she was worried that my girlfriend had gotten pregnant on purpose to secure a place in our family. She used the phrase, "trap you with a baby," several times. Here's the thing. While my father does own a successful business, we are not millionaires. The whole "trapping me with a baby" argument is ridiculous. If my girlfriend were one of those people, surely there are richer fish in the sea. I told them they were being ridiculous and that the pregnancy was completely accidental. I explained that my girlfriend and I had already talked about our future together even before she got pregnant, but they didn't want to listen. My sister kept saying the timing was too convenient. Mom said that my girlfriend probably saw an opportunity once she learned about the wedding date and the financial situation of our family. I left that conversation angry and told my girlfriend everything they said. She didn't say much, but I know it hurt her to hear that my family thought that way about her. Well, not my whole family, just my sister and my mother. Dad wasn't part of that conversation, and when I told him what happened, he got angry with Mom and my sister. He said their behavior was unacceptable and that he would talk to them to knock that nonsense out of their heads. He has always liked my girlfriend and treats her as if she were already part of the family. That didn't change even after the announcement. Over the last few months, we've all been pretending everything is fine when we're together, but I can tell my girlfriend is uncomfortable around Mom and my sister. I've talked with her about not having to see them if it bothers her, but she keeps saying it's fine. We had already talked about getting engaged after the baby was born, but we moved the plan up. I proposed 3 weeks ago and my girlfriend said yes. The engagement didn't help. If anything, it irritated my sister even more. She started commenting that we were moving too fast and that the engagement ring was probably more expensive than she expected. She asked my girlfriend several times to show her the ring and examined it closely while making comments about the cost. Last weekend, we decided to have the baby shower at my apartment. I know these parties are sometimes only for women, but we wanted a family gathering. We invited both families and some close friends. My girlfriend was excited because it was the first time in months that both families would be together for something positive. The gathering started well. People were eating, talking, and looking at the baby gifts, especially me, since I didn't know a baby needed so many things. I didn't know if a baby was going to be born or was going on a 6-year mission to Mars. My girlfriend looked relaxed for the first time in weeks, laughing at my disbelief over the gifts. Seriously, is this baby Matt Damon, Dad? Dad was helping greet people and making sure everyone had food and drinks, using his social skills. Then but my dad replied that he was also joking, except he wasn't joking, and that he truly was not going to pay for anything. Then my girlfriend also spoke up to support my father, because she felt his decision was completely appropriate given my sister's behavior. What came next was chaos. My sister started crying and screaming that her wedding was ruined. My mom was furious and said that my girlfriend had manipulated my dad into punishing my sister. Other people responded to my mother and sister, while my girlfriend's parents were talking to her. My mother and sister left, but before they did, they told my girlfriend that the whole situation was her fault and that she should be happy because she was getting exactly what she wanted, since apparently I was blind and so was my father, and we couldn't see through her act. After they left, Dad stayed, and so did my in-laws. My father apologized to my girlfriend and her parents for my mom's and sister's behavior. He told my girlfriend that she no longer needed to pretend to be polite with them and that he would understand if she never wanted to see them again. 5 days have passed since all of, whatever that was. My sister and mom won't stop calling and texting me. They want me to convince Dad to change his mind about financing the wedding. Apparently all their strategies and witchcraft aren't working to make him change his mind. Once my father decides something, it's already too late, so it wouldn't matter even if I did something, but they're desperate. They say I need to make my girlfriend talk to my dad to convince him that she isn't offended, but she is, very much so. They say that's the only way to make him change his mind, which I doubt. I found out from Dad that my sister and Wilson had already paid deposits for everything, under the assumption that Dad would cover the remaining balances after the wedding. Since all the contracts are signed and deposits are non-refundable, my sister can't cancel without losing thousands of dollars. Wilson's family can't cover the costs either. My sister is supposed to get married soon and has no way to pay for the venue, catering, flowers, or photographer. Mom has stopped talking to Dad entirely. She temporarily moved in with my sister to try to make him come to his senses. My girlfriend has been quiet, but from the little she says, I know exactly what she thinks. Here we stand. I don't want to fix any of this for several reasons. The main one is because they deserve it. But the second reason is because my father saw what they did, and if he thinks this is fair, no one is going to change his mind. I feel sorry for them, but if they wanted Dad to pay, they should have kept their mouths shut. At least until after the wedding. Update 1. First, as some people suggested, I talked to my girlfriend about whether she resented me for what happened at the baby shower. I was worried she might blame me for my family's behavior or for the situation getting out of control. My girlfriend told me she didn't blame me at all. She said she actually loved that both my dad and I defended her in front of everyone, because it showed what my mom and sister were really like. Previously, when they talked badly about my fiancée, they did it behind her back. Then I asked how she felt about my dad's decision to cut off funding for my sister's wedding. My girlfriend said she didn't expect Dad to react so strongly, but she still thought it was right, because it showed how hypocritical they were and how much they love projecting. She said supporting his decision in the moment felt like the right thing to do because my sister needed to face the consequences of her actions. The situation with my sister's wedding is stuck unless my sister or mother manage to pull off a miracle to save it. They've been calling vendors trying to negotiate payment plans, but most weren't willing to work with her. Wilson's parents are trying to contribute, but it's too much for them and nowhere near enough. My sister started looking for loans from family members. She called Dad's brother, our grandparents, even some family friends. Most already know what happened and have sided with Dad. This isn't just my father being stubborn, everyone thinks he has a point. Then I had a phone call with my sister. She tried to make me understand that she only had genuine concerns about me and that I should see what she said as an act of love rather than an attack. Basically, she kept repeating her arguments about why she thought what she thought and insisting she didn't deserve what was happening. But she did deserve it, and I told her so. And it wasn't just me, it was my dad and the others who had cut her off. I also called my dad, who admitted he felt awful about the tension and stress he was causing everyone, but he couldn't back down now. He said that if he caved, he would be sending the message that my sister could treat my girlfriend however she wanted without consequences. Lastly, I had a call from Wilson, my sister's fiancé. We had never had a personal conversation. Update 2. These are some important events from the last month and a half, especially regarding what would happen with my sister and her fiancé. 3 weeks after my last update, Wilson cancelled the wedding completely. Although there are some details we didn't know until a few days ago, when we found out what finally made him make the decision. Not that this last detail is the important part, he had already dealt with enough garbage, but the last straw was when my sister suggested that we ask my pregnant girlfriend to return her engagement ring. My sister thought that if my girlfriend returned the ring, they could sell it to help pay for the wedding. Wilson was horrified that my sister would ask a pregnant woman, by the way, to hand over her engagement ring to finance someone else's wedding. When Wilson refused to ask us for the ring, my sister accused him of caring more about my girlfriend than about their relationship. She said Wilson was choosing my family over her, which Wilson found ironic given that it was my sister who ruined her relationship with her own family. The wedding was officially cancelled 2 weeks before the date. My sister lost all the deposits, which amounted to around $8,000. Wilson's family also lost some money, but not much, since most of the major expenses were originally going to be covered by my parents. Mom was furious about the cancelled wedding. She called my dad and screamed at him over the phone, saying he had destroyed my sister's life and happiness. She said he could now be happy that he had ruined his daughter's life because of some nobody trying to get into the family. Dad replied that her daughter's life was already ruined with the kind of upbringing she'd been given. He said he was sorry the engagement ended, but Wilson had every right to rethink marrying someone like her. My parents' conversation got very heated. Mom said Dad had chosen my girlfriend over his own daughter. Dad said he simply refused to tolerate disrespect and that my sister had made her choices. That was the last conversation my parents had. Mom moved out of the house completely and now lives in a rental apartment across the city. She and Dad are talking about divorce. Meanwhile, my girlfriend entered her 3rd trimester and we started preparing for the baby's arrival. My girlfriend's parents, just like my dad, are keeping all the drama away from us. When we meet up with them, we talk about other things, and that brings us peace, especially to my girlfriend during this time when she needs it most. Dad comes regularly to check on my girlfriend and help with whatever is needed. He bought the crib and changing table for the nursery. He says he's excited to be a grandfather and wants to be as involved as we allow him to be. We're excited and nervous to become parents. We've been taking care of practical preparations, like installing the car seat and packing the hospital bag. We haven't heard from my sister. I know from Dad that she moved back in with Mom at the rental apartment. Update 3. Our daughter, my daughter, was born healthy and beautiful 3 months ago. The birth went well and my girlfriend recovered well. I'm amazed that my father knows more about babies than I ever could have imagined. I used to think that since he worked tirelessly in his business, he must have spent very little time with us as babies, but now he seems to know what every single baby item is for. Maybe he's fooling me and secretly took some kind of crash course for grandfathers. My girlfriend's parents visit us every weekend and are involved as well. It helps because I can ask all my new dad questions, like, can I hold the baby by 1 foot, upside down? And their answer is always a screaming no. But we understand each other. We haven't had contact with my mom or my sister since my daughter was born. The only thing that happened is that a few days after she was born my dad told me that my mom had seen the photo because she asked him if the baby looked healthy, but she never contacted us directly. My sister hasn't made contact either. Dad says she's still living with my mom. He doesn't know much about her personal life because she doesn't talk to him. Wilson is apparently seeing a new girlfriend, and I don't know how my sister must have taken that news. I can imagine not well. These are the moments when I'm glad I'm not near her so she can't accuse me of something that isn't my fault. The divorce between my parents was finalized too. Dad kept the house and my mom took half of the shared assets. They maintain some communication now and aren't as hostile toward each other, but there's no chance of reconciliation. My dad has also started seeing someone. He has always been a very social person, and since the divorce I always knew it would be easy for him to meet someone new. She's a woman his age, a widow with adult children, which according to him is perfect because he doesn't want to be the father of young kids again, and it makes the relationship much simpler. She seems kind and treats my girlfriend and my daughter well when she visits with my dad. My girlfriend likes her and says she's glad my dad found someone who makes him happy. Caring for a newborn has kept us so busy that we don't think much about the family drama anymore. We're overwhelmed with feeding schedules, diaper changes, and trying to get enough sleep. My girlfriend went back to part-time work when our daughter was 10 weeks old. She deserves it because spending all day taking care of a baby can drive you crazy. We hired a nanny, and from time to time I work from home to spend more time with the baby. We're planning to buy a house next year when our rental contract ends. Dad offered to help with the down payment, which is very generous, but we can manage it ourselves. Our place now isn't bad, but a house with a yard and owning our own place is what anyone who gets married wants. Yes, we still have to get married, but that will be in a couple of months. Our daughter is a happy baby. She smiles and laughs a lot. She has my girlfriend's eyes and my dad's chin. Dad says she's going to be something else when she grows up because she already has us all wrapped around her little finger, and he's not wrong. We're planning our daughter's first birthday, even though it's still 8 months away. I guess it's obvious we're first-time parents and don't really know what we're doing. At least we have the example of how we don't want to raise her, which is like my sister, but if we manage to guide her in a direction completely opposite to how my sister turned out, I think we can call ourselves good parents. It could also happen that my daughter falls on her head when I'm holding her upside down by one leg, and that changes the story with a single hit. I don't know how many people will get that reference, but I'll leave it there. Edit: I don't actually do that with my daughter. I should make that clear because some people said that was terrible and that I should be reported. Maybe some of them were actually raised that way and now they're writing here instead of training for a martial arts tournament. Update: for our wedding was last week, and besides a little drama, I'd also like to talk about the wedding itself. My father brought his new girlfriend so that the rest of the family could meet her. She was immediately liked by everyone there, including my in-laws. This isn't me saying it, but my uncle, my dad's brother, he said he liked her more than my mom, and he said it right in front of me, then apologized afterwards, which wasn't necessary because if she wasn't even invited to the wedding, there's a reason for that. Our daughter was the flower girl, but since she's too little to even walk without tripping, my dad carried her down the aisle and the two of them had fun throwing flowers. I think my dad more than my daughter. It was like having two flower children. His new girlfriend told him to sit down because he wanted to throw more flowers at the guests. The small drama happened after the wedding because even though they were definitely aware that the wedding was happening, they didn't say anything, but apparently my sister and my mother were waiting for me to invite them. So after the wedding my mother called me to scold me, also sending the message that my sister was disappointed in me and had blocked me. I told her why they weren't invited, which is the truth, that they were awful to my wife, but as expected my mother didn't understand and then hung up on me. I have the feeling she has blocked me too, but I don't want to send a message or call to check in case she hasn't. Imagine sending a message like, "You smell like a pig," and it turns out I wasn't blocked.